You know that moment when someone's audacity reaches levels you didn't even know were possible? When you realize that the person you've been dating thinks of you as their personal emergency ATM. That happened to me 4 weeks ago when my boyfriend called me from a Michelin-starred restaurant, surrounded by his friends, asking me to bail him out because his credit card got declined. Spoiler alert, I said no. And what happened after that turned my entire life upside down, but in the best way possible. My name's Olivia, I'm 32 years old, and up until a month ago, I was dating a man named Cameron for 9 months. He was successful, charming, worked in finance. Or at least, that's what he told me. Turns out, almost everything about Cameron was a lie. And it all unraveled with one phone call from a restaurant I could never afford. Let me start from the beginning. I met Cameron on a dating app 10 months ago. His profile was impressive. Senior financial analyst at a prestigious firm. Photos of him at fancy events, exotic vacations, nice restaurants. He looked successful. Put together. Exactly the kind of stable guy I was looking for after a string of disappointing relationships. Our first date was at a nice steakhouse. He paid without blinking. Ordered expensive wine. Told me stories about his job, his life, his ambitions. I was a middle school teacher making $62,000 a year. Comfortable but not wealthy. I lived modestly, had a small apartment, drove a 10-year-old Honda. Cameron said he loved that I was grounded and not materialistic. That I had a real job that mattered, unlike people in his field who just chased money. I thought it was sweet, thoughtful, a sign that he valued substance over superficial things. Looking back, I can see he was laying the groundwork. For the first 2 months, Cameron paid for everything. Fancy dinners, concert tickets, weekend trips. He insisted on it. I make way more than you, he'd say. Let me take care of this. I felt a little uncomfortable, but also flattered. Like he was showing me how much he valued me by treating me so well. Then, around month 3, things started shifting. We'd go out to dinner, and he'd forget his wallet. Babe, can you grab this? I'll get the next one. Or his card would decline. That's weird. Must be a fraud hold. Can you cover it? I'll Venmo you later. He never Venmo'd me later. At first, it was small amounts. $50 here, $80 there. I didn't think much of it. But then it started happening more frequently. And the amounts got bigger. $150 for dinner and drinks. $300 for concert tickets. $200 for his portion of a hotel room on a trip. I'll pay you back next week when my bonus hits, he'd say. The bonus never hit. Or if it did, he never paid me back. By month 6, I'd spent about $4,000 on Cameron. My friends were getting concerned. Doesn't he make like 6 figures? My best friend Rachel asked. Why is he always making you pay? He's just going through a cash flow issue, I'd say. He's got investments tied up. He'll pay me back. Has he paid you back yet? Well, no. But he will. Rachel gave me a look. Olivia, come on. You're smarter than this. But I wasn't. Or maybe I just didn't want to see it. Because seeing it meant admitting I'd been played. Cameron was good at keeping up appearances. He still talked about his job, his deals, his success. He still dressed well, though I later found out most of his clothes were rented or bought on credit cards he couldn't pay off. He'd show me his apartment, a nice high-rise downtown, and I'd think, see? He's clearly successful. He's just having temporary money issues. I didn't know his parents were paying his rent. I didn't know he was drowning in debt. I didn't know his senior analyst job was actually an entry-level position he'd inflated on his dating profile. I didn't know any of it until the phone call. 4 weeks ago, Saturday night, Cameron had plans with his friends. Guys' night, he said. We're going to Lawrence. Lawrence, the most expensive restaurant in the city. Michelin-starred. Reservations booked months in advance. Tasting menu starting at $350 per person. Sounds fancy, I said. Yeah, it's Steve's birthday. He wanted to go all out. Have fun. I stayed home. Graded papers. Watched Netflix. Went to bed around 10:30 p.m. My phone rang at 11:47 p.m. Cameron. Hey babe, he said. His voice had that tone. That apologetic, I need something tone I'd learned to recognize. What's up? I asked, already knowing this wasn't a social call. So we're at Lawrence. The dinner was amazing. But there's a problem. I sat up. What problem? My card declined. I don't know what happened. Must be a fraud alert or something. But the bill is $1,800, and they won't let us leave until it's paid and... Wait, $1,800? Just for you? Well, no. For me and Steve. We split the bill. His card worked for his half, but mine declined and now I owe $900 and I don't have another card on me and... Cameron, why are you calling me? Silence. Cameron, can you help me out? I know it's a lot, but I'm stuck here. The manager is being super weird about it, and I just need someone to call in with a card number. I actually laughed. You want me to pay $900 for your dinner at a restaurant I could never afford? It's not like that. What's it like then? Because from where I'm sitting, it sounds like you went to a fancy restaurant you couldn't afford, and now you want me to bail you out. Babe, I'm good for it. I get paid next week. I'll pay you back immediately. Like you paid me back the last 20 times you said you would? More silence. Olivia, come on. Don't do this now. I'm literally standing in front of the manager. This is embarrassing. Then maybe you shouldn't have ordered $900 worth of food you couldn't pay for. I thought I could pay for it. My card shouldn't have declined. Cameron, you've been having card problems for 6 months. At what point does it stop being bad luck and start being that you're broke? I'm not broke. Then call your bank. Call your parents. Call Steve, who apparently could afford his half. But don't call me and ask me to drop $900 on your dinner. Wait, I need your take on this. Drop a comment right now. Would you have paid the $900? Am I wrong here? And where in the world are you watching from? I'm genuinely curious what people think. Olivia, please. I'm begging you. I will pay you back. I promise. No. What? No. I'm not giving you $900. Figure it out yourself. Are you serious right now? You're going to leave me stranded at a restaurant. You're not stranded. You're at a restaurant you chose to go to, that you ordered food at, knowing you might not be able to pay. That's not my problem. That's yours. Unbelievable. You know what? Fine. I'll figure it out myself. But don't expect me to forget this. I won't, I said, and hung up. I turned my phone off and went back to bed. But I couldn't sleep. I lay there staring at the ceiling, replaying the conversation, replaying the last 9 months. And I realized Rachel was right. I'd been played. Cameron wasn't going through a rough patch. He wasn't having temporary cash flow issues. He was living beyond his means, lying about his success, and using me as his backup payment plan. And I'd let him. For 9 months. I got up, turned my phone back on, and started digging. What I found made me sick. I started with social media. Cameron's Instagram was full of photos at expensive restaurants, luxury hotels, private clubs, living the high life. But looking closer, I noticed something. In almost every photo with friends, someone else was tagged. And when I clicked through to their accounts, they'd post the same photos with captions like, "Thanks Steve for treating us," or "Birthday dinner courtesy of the birthday boy." Cameron never paid. He just showed up, ate expensive food, and let other people foot the bill. Then posted about it like he was the one living large. I checked Venmo. His transactions were public. And they told a damning story. Payments to Cameron. For dinner. For drinks. Covering your half. Payments from Cameron. Almost none. And the few that existed were tiny amounts. $10 here. $15 there. Never the full amounts people had covered for him. Then I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I called his company. "Hi, I'm trying to confirm employment for Cameron Mitchell. He's applying to rent an apartment from me." The HR rep was helpful. "Cameron Mitchell, let me check. Yes, he works here. He's a junior analyst in our retail investment division." Junior analyst. Not senior. Not even mid-level. Junior. And what's the typical salary range for that position? I can't give exact numbers, but entry-level analysts here start around $55,000. $55,000. Not the 6 figures he'd been implying. Not even close. I called Rachel. "I need to tell you something, and I need you not to say I told you so." Oh God, what did Cameron do? I told her everything. The phone call from the restaurant, the social media deep dive, the Venmo history, the phone call to his company. "Olivia," Rachel said carefully, "you know what this means, right? That he's been lying to me about everything. Not just lying. Using you. He's been using you as his personal bank account while living a lifestyle he can't afford." I know. What are you going to do? I'm going to end it. Tonight. Cameron showed up at my apartment at 1 a.m. I heard the knock. Checked the peephole. It was him. I opened the door. He looked sheepish. Hey, he said. Can I come in? No. Olivia, come on. Let me explain. There's nothing to explain. We're done. Done. Because I had one bad night. Because you've had 9 months of bad nights that I've been paying for. Because you lied about your job. Because you've been using me to subsidize a lifestyle you can't afford. His face changed. What are you talking about? I called your company, Cameron. You're not a senior analyst. You're junior level, making $55,000 a year. You've been lying about everything. I can explain. I don't want to hear it. I want you to leave. And I want you to pay me back the $4,200 you owe me. $4,200? That's ridiculous. I have receipts. Every dinner I paid for. Every event. Every time your card mysteriously declined. It adds up to $4,200. And I want it back. He actually had the nerve to look offended. I don't have that kind of money. Then get it. Sell some of those designer clothes you bought on credit. Tell your parents. Get a second job. I don't care. But you owe me $4,200, and I'm not letting this go. You're being crazy. No, I'm being smart. Finally. You've been scamming me for 9 months and I'm done. Pay me back, or I'm taking you to small claims court. You wouldn't. Try me. He left. Angry. Defensive. Playing the victim. I didn't care. The next day I did 3 things. First, I blocked Cameron on everything. Phone. Social media. Email. Everything. Second, I sent him a formal demand letter via certified mail requesting repayment of $4,200 within 30 days. Third, I went to my bank and filed a dispute for one charge I'd made on my credit card for him, a $300 hotel room from 2 months ago that he'd promised to Venmo me for. The bank sided with me. Cameron tried to contact me through friends, through fake accounts, through his own friends asking me to be reasonable. I ignored all of it. 3 weeks went by. No payment. So I filed a small claims case. Cost me $75 to file. But I had documentation. Receipts. Text messages where he promised to pay me back. Venmo requests he'd ignored. The court date was set for 2 months out. Cameron finally responded, through a lawyer, claiming I was harassing him. That we were in a relationship and I'd voluntarily paid for things. So he didn't owe me anything. My response, through my own lawyer, if it was a gift, why did he promise to pay me back multiple times in writing? The court date arrived 2 weeks ago. Cameron showed up in a suit, probably rented. His lawyer tried to argue that this was a relationship dispute, not a debt. The judge asked Cameron directly, "Did you promise to repay her?" Cameron hesitated. "Well, yes, but..." "Did you repay her?" "No, but..." "Do you have evidence that these payments were gifts with no expectation of repayment?" "No, Your Honor." The judge ruled in my favor. Full amount plus court costs and interest. $4,487 total. Cameron has 90 days to pay or his wages get garnished. Here's where it gets even better. After the court case, 3 other women reached out to me through mutual friends. Cameron had done the same thing to them. Same lies about his job. Same card declined routine. Same promises to pay back money he never paid back. One woman had lent him $2,000 for an emergency. Never saw it again. Another had paid for a vacation because his bonus hadn't hit yet. He ghosted her after the trip. A third had covered his rent twice because he was between paychecks. He broke up with her when she asked for the money back. All of us filed small claims cases. All of us won. Cameron is now on the hook for about $15,000 in judgments from 4 different women. And his social media, still posting like he's living the high life. But now people are commenting. Who paid for this dinner? When are you paying back the money you owe? He's deleted most of the comments. But the damage is done. His reputation is ruined. His scam is exposed. And he's going to be paying off judgments for years. Meanwhile, I got my money back. Plus interest. So here's what I learned from all this. If someone's lifestyle doesn't match their income, they're either in debt or they're lying. Usually both. If someone constantly has card problems or cash flow issues, it's not bad luck. It's bad financial management. And it's not your job to bail them out. And if someone calls you from a $900 dinner asking you to pay, hang up, block the number, and thank the universe for showing you exactly who they are. That phone call from Lawrence was the best thing that ever happened to me. Not because I enjoyed it, but because it woke me up. It made me see that Cameron wasn't my boyfriend. He was my dependent, my financial burden, my liability, and I was worth more than that. I'm Olivia. I'm 32 years old. I'm a teacher who makes $62,000 a year. And I wasted 9 months and $4,200 on a man who called me from a 5-star restaurant asking me to pay for his dinner. But I got my money back. I got my dignity back. I got my life back. Cameron got a court judgment and a ruined reputation. I'd say we both got what we deserved.